Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Jono's Adventure. And in this final part 4 of my vacation to Albuquerque, New Mexico, I'm going to take you to the Pueblo Culture Center. And it's a very, very nice place to go, and I highly recommend if you travel to Albuquerque, this would be a great place to go to give you an idea of the history of the Native American peoples in and around New Mexico, the Pueblo Nation. So stay tuned and I will see you on the other side. So the Indian Pueblo Culture Center was founded in 1976 by the 19 Pueblos of New Mexico. We, the Pueblo people, saw a need for a center to preserve our culture as well as educate the visitors about our way of life. The building was placed on sovereign land deeded to the Pueblos by the Albuquerque Indian School, which was still in operation through the 1980s. Since its opening, the IPCC has seen expansions and growth, becoming a vital education resource and gathering place for the Pueblo people, local residents, and any of the visitors that come to the Southwest. The architectural design highlights traditional Pueblo styles and pays homage to the ancestral homelands. The D shape of our building is reminiscent of the Pueblo Bonito in Chaco Canyon. Pueblo Bonito is one of the largest sites built by our ancestors and stands as a testament to their mastery of construction and knowledge of our earth.
We journey through the underworld with the guidance of the spirits. Emerging through an opening into our current world. We journey together. And over time, divided, forming distinctive Pueblo communities. We remain today as part of the land given to our ancestors from the beginning of time. We live in a cyclical existence, organized by a seasonal calendar. Of planting, harvesting, dances, and ceremonies. traditional practices. After this life, our spirit continues its journey, joining those who guide and protect. This is the pathway of our people.
So, coming along into the Culture Center is the museum. And the museum features potteries and the story and history of the Pueblo people here in New Mexico. Highly recommend coming just to see some of these interesting beginnings. So we're walking through where they make the sashes and the drums. And have you ever watched them make a drum?
No, I never have. It's a long process, starting with the tree that's round, and they work inside of it,
Hollow it out.
and hollow it out, and so that takes all the time, and I just never had the time to sit and watch all that. But
It's interesting. And what do they use to cover the top?
hides,
Like deer hides or?
deer hides, buffalo, cow. Same with the with the shoes. So,
I'll go look at those. But
so
but you own.
it's a long process.
You own one. You have a drum at home.
Yes, I do. I have a drum.
And where'd you get that from?
That was from the Jemez Pueblo. Simon used to make drums, a friend of ours, and that was one that he had made that he gave me. So.
Oh, nice. Okay. Those are about the drums. So as Jim was saying, they use deer hide for drums and cottonwood tree pieces that they use to hollow out. It's over a year-long process. And this is a painted drum. But it's very interesting. And then over here we have the finished product of rust-colored moccasins and moccasin making. Hard-sole moccasins that they use to protect their feet from the hard soil. You know, storytelling was very much important in the Pueblos. And so during the winter time, they may tell a story about the buffalo. Maybe they would talk about the owls. Maybe they would talk about the dancers. In the winter time, the buffalo dancers would be dancing. So they would tell stories of the winter. And here we have the winter changing into the spring. So maybe they would talk about the butterfly dancer, or maybe talk about the sparrows and the importance of the sparrows. And then we would get into the summer. And in the summer, they would tell stories about, well, there they have the rainbow dancer, where they would celebrate the coming of the season for planting. They would talk about celebrating just the growth. And then we would have the fall. And in the fall, they would talk about different stories, but they would talk about going elk hunting, the importance of elk, because elk would feed the communities, use the hide for the drums and such. And of course, they would talk about hunting. So that's my story. Okay, I just wanted to, I have to read this because it's not very good for me to memorize, but in regards to Indian boarding schools, the U.S. government passed laws allowing the Pueblo and other Native children to be forcibly removed from their families and communities and placed in boarding schools. At these schools, they face severe punishments for speaking their native language and practicing their traditions. In New Mexico, the Albuquerque Indian School, or AIS, and the Santa Fe Indian School, SFIS, founded in 1881 and 1890, were government's primary tools for assimilation, for enacting its policies in assimilation. Many Pueblo children attended these schools, and they often made lifelong friends and future spouses. So here's Jim talking about his experience at a Indian school. So Jim, when you were growing up, did you go to a boarding school or an Indian school?
I went to a Christian boarding school, but not as familiar as the government type of a boarding school. But the government boarding school had rules and all that
Right.
that they assimilate to, but ours was based on Christian religion.
Right.
But my mother went to a boarding school. My brother also went to Indian school in Santa Fe,
Oh.
and they had a lot of different rules,
Uh-huh.
and which I'm vaguely remembering, and but it was essential. It was something that had to be initiated, because you're not getting that type of education in the reservations.
Right.
So for a proper American civilization, you had to assimilate also through education,
Right.
and which was good, and maybe it was not good looking at it from the Indian Pueblo
Perspective.
life and religion. Yeah, so it was essential, and it's good.
Currently, or today, the reservations do have schools on their own reservation where they do teach the basics, the math and the history and English, but also the traditions. And they're passed down from the elders. And so the children learn different things of pottery making and weaving and growing crops and certain things, and of course the dances and celebration. So the schools today are important, an integral part of the Jemez Pueblo and other pueblos. All right, so another reading here, but in the plaza of the Pueblo Culture Center, there's several artists are featured with mural paintings. Jim's uncle, Jose Ray Toledo, is featured here with his painting of a ceremonial dance dedicated to bringing the blessing of rain. The dancers give thanks for the beauties of life, abundant rain, and plentiful crops. The dance is called the Turtle Dance. And Jim's uncle, Jose Ray Toledo, from 1915, passed away in 1994, attended Albuquerque Indian School in the 1930s, and later in 1955 he earned his master's in fine arts from the University of New Mexico. And in 1972 he earned his second master's in public health from the University of California, Berkeley. Just a little side note, I met him, of course. I married Jim in 1979, and his uncle, I got to be in a naming ceremony, and they named me Washahuyu, which means over the rainbow, Wachahuyu. So that was my Indian name, named by Jose Ray. It was an amazing time to sit and know him. So that's why I'm giving a little special, I don't want to say credit, but just something about him. He is known as a graphic historian because of his detailed, loving portrayals of social and religious ceremonies, some of which are no longer performed and are preserved only in his paintings. He is exhibited in Europe as well as across the United States, and his works are on permanent display at the School of American Research and the Smithsonian Institution. Jim is privileged as well to own several of his prints. So, and he starred in a couple movies. He also did a real popular commercial for a pizza company in Albuquerque. So those are some of my memories of him, but a wonderful man, and he's missed, but boy, he had some really nice work of art and pottery. And so here's his featured mural in the plaza of the Pueblo Culture Center. Well, didn't you find that very interesting? It was a really full day to go, and we were able to start from the beginning, walk around. It's almost like in a horseshoe shape for the museum itself. A lot of demonstration, as you can see in the past, and meant a lot to me because I married Jim, and he's a full-blooded Native American Pueblo from the Pueblo of Jemez. So of course it's nice to see the history of my own family. Anyway, so that being said, my next videos, I'm getting ready to go on a cruise from New York City to Bermuda. I leave on June 13th to fly to New York, and then I hop on that ship, the Norwegian Joy, on Sunday, Mother's Day, and spend a week going to Bermuda. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, before I start videoing that, and I'm going to capture some cruise tips, packing tips. I'm working on that now. So I'll be releasing that next week, and then of course the pack with me and all that entails to go. And then after that cruise, continue to stay focused on my videos, because I'm going to go out of Seattle, Washington to go to Alaska in June. So I'm going to have a busy summer. I'm anxious to get it started and to take you along with me for everything. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. I appreciate everyone that comments and has joined my YouTube channel so far. We're still trying to reach that magical number of 1,000, so you can always help me by doing that. Share my videos with some friends and let them know how special I am. All right, everybody. Thanks again. Love you all. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.